Thanks for staying with us on TVC Breakfast. Let's check through the papers now for top stories on Nigerian newspapers this morning. We begin with This Nigeria, and it's leading with a report on what it calls PDP reconciliation, saying Atiku's team absent at Port Harcourt meeting. We have a homecoming reception for the presidential candidate in Adeyemo, it says. But Wike's team is quoted asking how can a reception be more important than a peace talk? And a further rider saying that Friday is a new date for further reconciliation discussions. Now to the leadership, still on the PDP crisis, which is said to be deepening. The chairman, Iyorchia, is reportedly calling Wike's bluff, saying he has a 4-year tenure. That's on the leadership. And now to this day, still on the national chairman of the main opposition party, saying, I have not resigned and will not resign, adding that he's elected for 4 years. And those are the papers from my end. Mike now.
All right, let's get to the Nation newspaper from this end. Nation says, to Wike and others, I have no plan to quit the PDP chair now. And he said, I was elected for 4 years. The absence of Atiku's men stalls peace parley. That's what the Nation newspaper has. And from there, let's go to the Nigerian Tribune. And it's talking about the PDP crisis. I have not resigned. I have a 4-year mandate. Iyorchia is saying that at the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party. And from there, let's go to the first news. How Magu retained 48 billion naira loot, abandoned 118 billion naira fraud cases. Salami panel is quoted at revealing some of these issues here. That's the first news. From there, let's go to Nigeria News Direct. Nigeria News Direct says, outrage over 17 years, highest inflation rate of 19.64%. That's what the Nigeria News Direct has here. Let's go to Daily Trust. Daily Trust says energy, food prices push inflation to 17-year high. Okay, that's what the Daily Trust has in there. From there, Business Day is the last one we're looking at now. Bread price, subsidy burden push inflation to 16-year high. Okay, one paper says 16, another says 17. Okay, but seem to be the highest in a very long time. That's what Business Day has. Business Day has bread price, subsidy burden, push inflation to 16-year high. All right, Kemi.
Right. These are the much we can take at this point now, but two crucial issues, spring up. One of them is the worsening inflation figures not looking good at the moment. The latest statistics from the National Bureau calls it the worst in 17 years. Or the highest in 17 years, if you go by what some papers are saying. Of course, you rightly noted, Mike, that, another paper or a series of papers are also quoting divergent years, but 19.64% for the month of July as against 18.60 in the month of June doesn't look good at all.
Yes, I saw that the newspaper said 16-year high, another newspaper said 17-year high. Even if it is 10-year high, it's a scandal. What it means is that it is difficult to really reconcile your pocket with your stomach. That is the problem. And it means that the cost of rice is going up, the cost of bread is going up, the cost of survival is going up. Your income is not it's not really reconciling itself with the cost of living, which means that things have to change. The Minister of Agriculture was trying to say that the government has created ways to help farmers go to the markets without being attacked by bandits and so on. We know that is a way of just cracking, papering over the cracks, because the problem essentially is that the spate of violence and banditry has affected the market. affected how to ship our goods, the products down or across the country, and it has affected the farmers. It has affected costs because they are being fined and they are paying all kinds of levies to the bandits. They are doing that, and two, they also have to pay psychological costs for going to farm and sending these things to us. And so these things will lead to, scarcity. And when there's scarcity, you have this kind of problem.
Some are even going as far as relating Nigeria's situation with the issue in Sierra Leone that recorded heightened protests over the rising cost of food. And, analysts more and more have asked the governments to engage more. There appears to be a growing feeling that, governance has been suspended due to the coming election and, of course, production. Manufacturers are not having it good. Consumers are not having it good. There still remains the lingering conversation of Nigeria consuming more than production, which has also worsened our situation.
Yeah, you see, what happened in other countries, or what happened in other countries and people protest. If it happens in Nigeria, it looks like, well, everybody complains and they move on. In Sierra Leone, like you mentioned, it's the same thing. In fact, it could be worse in Nigeria because the issues here are compounded. We have economic issues, we have security issues, we have all of those issues. But Nigerians are not protesting as much as they're not happy and they're complaining. But because Nigerians, for a very long time, don't rely solely on government for things. You are a government in yourself. You're preparing to, in fact, you graduate from the university, you're looking for a job for yourself, and then if you're going to build a house, you build a house, and you're building a house, you're looking...
With little or no government
support. Whatever the thing is, no
right.
support. You're getting your own borehole, you're getting, in fact, a generator is a necessity. You're buying the house, you're creating your own security, and so on. So those are the issues. But you see, this is the fallout, or this is the fallout of the complaint that people have been laying all the while. If government doesn't do anything about security or insecurity, then we're going to have it, have a very tough time. These are the realities of what Nigerians have been saying over the time. Because now that we have issues of insecurity in a large part of the country, farmers that are supposed to, even the subsistence farming that we've been having all the while, has been trying to sustain Nigerians a little bit. But now that has been cut by a very large percentage. So now there's scarcity of food, call every kind of food at all that is produced, there's scarcity of it. And if there's scarcity of it, then of course, you cannot meet, supply cannot meet demand. Demand is still very high. So when you have that, of course, it's going to shoot all the prices up there and it is going to affect inflation. So these are the challenges. So until government decides, let us be very intentional. Let us be very decisive about the security reports we're getting, how to take care of some of these things so that the rest, the superstructure, everything can take care of itself. Because if that security is not fixed, we're going to be in this situation for a long time.
Absolutely, because I recall we had a conversation in the office, and there was, it now came to the point of what's the most crucial need for Nigerians that any incoming leader, elected leader, would need to tackle, and there were divergent opinions from here and there, but the bottom line still stood at security, because we're talking about food crisis. Elsewhere, one would think it's a matter of maybe we are not having it good with mother weather, with the climate, but now this is what we have in abundance. We are in a very good season, so to speak, for planting, and so food should not be an issue. So we have this food, this food now, but security is a major contention. Now, can the farmers, go to the farms in peace, and when they come back, and then transportation, bringing the food down to the cities to sell them, there still remains concerns here and there, and all this a little here, a little there, doesn't seem to put Nigeria in a good place at all. And yes, the need for the governments to engage more, to be more intentional, that is crucial, because there's also the issue of corruption.
There's also
and so many others.
the other news story. about what is going on between Atiku and
of course, you're
and,
right. Wike and of course the lingering IU conversation.
The meeting that never was, you know, as it were. Because they're saying that there was a quote, a very interesting quote, that the reception cannot be more important than the meeting, something like that. Which shows that the thing is not working. The real issue is that the two main actors are not meeting. They are not talking. Then they are sending shadow. It's shadow boxing. Send your shadow, I send my shadow. But I'm here, you are there. We're not seeing each other. We're not talking. I mean, I think it's just a charade. It's just a ceremony of dialogue without a voice. You know, that's what is going on.
Yeah.
And speaking of the crisis, okay, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I think I have mentioned this before. The burden of this is on Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of the PDP. We know his clout, we know his standing, but he has to come down from that horse. Go to Wike or call Wike, two of you will meet. This sending my people or sending a team, it will not work. The issue there is call this, two of you meet on one-on-one in a room, just two of you, and speak to each other. The moment you speak to, in fact, you'll be very shocked that on the day two of them meet together or meet each other, all this thing will end.
Absolutely.
That's how it is sometimes.
As I said.
Because there's a lot of insinuations and perception, you know, but the moment you
this
meet...
gives room for more contentions.
Exactly. The moment it diffuses all of those insinuations and all of that, you know, it's just like the rivalry between Ronaldo and Messi sometimes, where the media, Ronaldo is this. But when two of them meet, they're just two friends who are just humbly doing their own thing and so on. But out there, it looks like, the supporters of this one is against the supporters. That's how it is. Right. But let them meet so that they can create...
They don't want to meet.
Come up front.
They don't want to meet.
All right.
Because last time they met, they said there was a breaking of ice, but there was no melting of ice. There was a breaking of ice, no melting of ice. So that's what happened.
Still unresolved issues. Of course, there's
and
the meeting built for Friday.
And IU says
he's not going.
I'm not dropping down.
Yeah.
It's a retirement job for IU, so he will hold on to it. And it won't bow down. And in the case of Atiku is the problem, as you said, because he doesn't want to come down low. Just as Tolstoy said in his novel War and Peace, he said it's better to go too low than not low enough. But he's not even ready to even go low at all. He's the presidential candidate. Who is Wike?
Right.
Who is he?
Crucial
Who is
times.
he to come? And Wike says, you think I'm not somebody? Okay, we'll see.
We'll see at the elections.
All right, crucial times indeed. Of course, all eyes on the big picture and not, forgetting the real issues, of course, that matter. We'll get to talk about them in due course.